Hello. Thank you for joining me and welcome back. So I did not plan on doing everything in one meeting, but so much happened that I wanted to put it together just for my YouTube cabinet members. So what I wanted to touch bases on, bitch, Hunter Biden, okay? Sometimes, and this is why I personally just don't want to have children, right? Because sometimes it's the people closest to you who can give you the most problems. We have several situations that are busy. Well, a few situations that are very busy in the White House right now. We're going to talk about the cocaine that was found in the White House. They're selling cocaine in the White House. Do cocaine in the White House. Like, it's crazy, right? You have that going on. Then you have the situation with Hunter Biden. We're also going to discuss the Los Angeles no bail new law that they just put back into effect and a few other things. But Hunter Biden. Okay. Now, for those of you who may not have been following the case, because one thing I will say in regards to this Hunter Biden situation, the reporting, and I gotta keep it real, you know, y'all know I'm a liberal person, I'm more left-leaning, for sure, but the way that the Hunter Biden, you know, scandal in regards to the tax issues, his dealings with different companies overseas, has been, the reporting to me has not been very clear. It's been very sketch, in my opinion. So, Hunter Biden, so here's what happened. Basically, the Justice Department investigated Hunter Biden for his dealings with companies in the Ukraine and in China, okay? They investigated that. They basically gave him a slap on the wrist. Now, he's also being investigated again. Republicans who lead 3 key House committees are going to be joining forces to probe the Justice Department's handling against Hunter Biden after making sweeping claims about misconduct at the agency. So here's what's happening. Hunter Biden, no shade, is causing a lot of problems. Not only is he causing problems for his daddy, he is causing problems for the Biden Justice Department. So, just to give you insight on where it's at. So, Hunter Biden is going to plead guilty in a deal that will avoid him serving time behind bars in this tax and gun case. So, and this is according to the Associated Press. President Joe Biden's son Hunter will plead guilty to federal tax offenses, but avoid full prosecution on a separate gun charge in a deal with the Justice Department that likely spares him time behind bars. Hunter, 53, will plead guilty to the misdemeanor tax offenses as part of an agreement he made with the Justice Department. The agreement will also avert prosecution on a felony charge of illegally possessing a firearm as a drug user, as long as he adheres to conditions agreed to in court. Okay, so because he used drugs, he's not supposed to be having, you know, firearms and things of that nature, bitch. We don't want you in a drug-induced haze and then you go on a shooting spree thinking that you're playing duck hunt. Okay, so the deal ends a long-running Justice Department investigation into the taxes and foreign business dealings of President Biden's second son, who acknowledged struggling with addiction. It also averts a trial that would have generated days or weeks of distracting headlines for a White House that has strenuously sought to keep its distance from the Justice Department. Okay? While the agreement requires the younger Biden to admit guilt, the deal is narrowly focused on tax and weapons violations rather than anything broader or tied to the Democratic president. Nonetheless, former President Donald Trump, of course, and other Republicans continue to try to use the case to shine an unflattering spotlight on Joe Biden. Trump challenging Biden likened the agreement to a mere traffic ticket. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy compared the outcome to the Trump documents case, which is not the same thing, okay? Two people familiar with the investigation said the Justice Department would recommend 24 months of probation for the tax charges. So for him pleading guilty to the tax charges, for him, fucking up with his taxes, but he was being funny with the IR of the S, okay? 24 months of probation for the tax charges, so he wouldn't face jail time for that. But the decision to go along with any deal is up to the judge. The people, the source wasn't authorized to speak on anything more. So he is going to plead, this is what he's pleading guilty to. So these are the details of the tax charges, bitch. So we already know we don't pay our taxes. We get audited for $50,000 in yearly income, bitch. He is pleading guilty to paying more than, to failing, bitch, to pay more than $100,000 in taxes on over $1.5 million in income in both 2017 and 2018. Charges that carry a maximum possible penalty of a year in prison. The back taxes have since been paid, according to a person close to the investigation. So when we think about it, though, right? He didn't pay $100,000 in taxes on $1.5 million worth of income. To us, that's a lot of money. But in rich people world, bitch, that's like, I'm like, see, this is the shit that gets me, right? And this is why when people on both sides of the aisle try to make it a party thing with where we are in America, it's really a class thing. Rich people, whether they're a Democrat or Republican, is going to rich people. Okay? They're going to figure out a way to keep the money. I don't understand, if you could just go ahead and pay the $100,000 now, why didn't you pay the $100,000 then? You made $1.5 million. You could have been paid that $100,000, because that's what, let's think about this. This was in 17 and 18. That's what he is pleading guilty to. Okay? Just the $1.5 million that he didn't pay taxes on. We know he done made more than that. So that should have been covered. But whatever. Okay? Y'all know I keep it fair. Just because you a Dem or just because your daddy is the president that I voted for don't mean that you are absolved from being held accountable. Okay? Now, as far as the gun charge is concerned, the gun charge states that Hunter Biden possessed a handgun, a Colt Cobra 38 Special. First of all, bitch, is you robbing stagecoaches? Who the fuck, and for my gun care, my Second Amendment folks out there, you got a 39 Special, bitch. Is it 77? Is you out here doing jobs with Clint Eastwood and fucking John Wayne? Like, a 38 Special, you getting charged for having a 30. If you, like, for me, if I'm gonna get charged for some guns, it's gonna be for some big shit. You know what I'm saying? A AK-47, a Uzi, something crazy that's like, yeah, he in jail for that. Not for no goddamn spin the barrel ass 38 Special. A Colt Cobra? Really? Okay? So, he had the gun for 11 days in October 2018, despite knowing he was a drug user. The rarely found count carries a maximum sentence of up to 10 years in prison, bitch. So if you have a gun, and you a known drug user, bitch, on a federal level, you get up to 10 years for that. Ain't that crazy? They don't even give people that much money for killing people in car accidents. That's crazy. But the Justice Department said Hunter Biden had reached a pretrial agreement. This likely means as long as he adheres to the conditions, the case will be wiped from his record. So not only will he avoid the jail time for that, but it's also going to be wiped for his record, wiped from his record. Okay? The agreement comes as the Justice Department pursues perhaps the most consequential case in its history against Trump. the first former president to face federal crime charges. Okay? The resolution of Hunter Biden's case comes just days after a 37-count indictment against Trump in relation to accusations of mishandling classified documents on his Florida estate. Now, in reading that, this is why the Republican Party is pissed. Now, let's be clear here. Y'all know I'm fair. Y'all know I'm even. Okay? I do think that there's a difference here. There's a difference because Hunter Biden is not a president. Okay? That is the only difference to me. But I do feel like he should be held accountable. Now, the tax issue is also in regards to a lot of this investigation as well is in regards to his business dealings with companies in the Ukraine and China. Okay? And of course, you know, that presents a conflict of interest because if you're making all of this money and at the time your dad is the vice president of the United States, of course that presents a conflict of interest and things like that. So one could understand why there is this concern. Okay? And that's just being logical. It has nothing to do with Democrat or Republican. It has nothing to do with you being, you know, Joe Biden's son. If you were anybody, I would look at this and be like, yeah, I can understand why folks are mad. But let's not look at the equivalent of shoplifting and equate that with the same thing as espionage. Donald. Okay. So because of this deal, so let's tie this in. Let's bring it up. So he got, that's essentially a slap on the wrist, no shade. Let's call a spade. He got a slap on the wrist. The Republicans is pissed, bitch. Now the whole shade is this investigation for Hunter Biden started while Donald Trump was president. So Donald Trump's Justice Department, they the ones that started this whole investigation. That's the tea. That's the whole shade. But they drug their foot on it. The reason why I believe they drug their foot on it because they didn't know if Joe Biden was actually going to run. So they kind of, I think, and this is just me speculating, I think they were like, we'll just keep this under our hat just in case Joe Biden runs or some shit go down. But if some shit go down, we're going to pay it. And that's just a fact. They probably was like, we're going to pay it. And now they're trying to bring it up just in time for election time and say, hey, yeah, Donald Trump is, you know, got a 37-count indictment, but, you know, Joe Biden's son ain't squeaky clean either. Now, granted, that's his son. That's not Joe Biden. But, you know, the apple don't fall too far from the tree. Let's call a spade, folks. Let's keep it a buck. Can't you eat? So the Republicans are mad, of course. So the Republicans who lead three key House committees are joining forces to probe the Justice Department's handling of it. So leaders of the House Judiciary, Oversight, and Accountability and Ways and Means committees opened a joint investigation into the federal case into President Joe Biden's son after it was announced that he was going to get this deal. Okay? Representatives Jim Jordan, can't stand him, of Ohio, James Comer of Kentucky, not case, and Jason Smith of Missouri, who's he, have since issued a series of requests for voluntary testimony from senior officials at the Justice Department, FBI, and Internal Revenue Service as they investigate what they claim is improper interference. Republicans have also requested a special counsel review of supposed retaliation against the whistleblowers who came forward with the claim. Okay? In April, the first whistleblower, this guy Shapley, came forward when his attorney reached out to GOP Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa to say that his client had information about a failure to mitigate clear conflicts of interest and the ultimate disposition of Joe Biden's case. Okay? Smith who is the chair of the Ways and Means Committee, who has jurisdiction over the IRS, brought in Shapely in late May for an hours-long interview where he described several roadblocks that he and several other IRS agents on the case encountered when trying to interview individuals relevant to the investigation or issue search warrants. The whistleblowers insist their testimony reflects a pattern of interference and preferential treatment in the Hunter Biden case, and not just disagreement with their superiors about what investigative steps to take. Justice Department policy has long warned prosecutors to take care in charging cases with potential political overtones. Okay? So, some of these whistleblowers are saying, hey, we were trying to do our due diligence on this Hunter Biden case and things like that, but every time we tried to do it, we ran into interference and all kinds of shit, right? So my thing is, okay, the timing is convenient. I just feel like, honestly, as a country, we need just fresh people in all offices. Like, all of these legacy people should only be operating, like, we need to figure out a way to have, like, people operating in an advisory capacity where we recognize your wisdom and knowledge, and I think that still needs to be, taken into account. But it's to the point where, whether it's the right or the left, you got people like Lindsey Graham and some of these people have just been in office, the Bidens, they've just been in office too long, where for the soul of the nation, we just need fresh people who don't have any ties, who can just look at things objectively and get the job done. Because I feel like it's going to continue to be this game of tit for tat, back and forth, and it's just crazy. It's just crazy. So the Hunter Biden case, expect more of that. Expect that to definitely come up in debates. It's going to keep going. Okay. Now, meanwhile, in Russia, so remember we talked about 2 weeks ago, we talked about the Wagner chief Prigozhin, and he was getting ready to stage a coup. He was getting ready to ride up on Putin. He had Putin, in a vulnerable position. But then this idiot, to avoid bloodshed, which I'm all about that. I don't want nobody dying. But y'all already blowing people up in Ukraine, bitch. At this point, it's already bloodshed. But to avoid bloodshed, according to him, he backed off and stepped down. Well, you goddamn idiot. Okay? We ain't seen him in I don't know how long. So, Prigozhin. So, they starting to believe that he's dead or in prison somewhere. Okay? So, after this idiot, because that's what we're going to reference him as, because he was an idiot. So after Prigozhin decides to back off of the coup, let's call a spade, he was staging a coup. He was supposed to be in Belarus and he was going to hide out there, but y'all know Vladimir wasn't having that shit. So he had a meeting with Putin, okay? There's no footage of said meeting. There's no record of said meeting. There's nothing about the meeting. And he hasn't been heard from or seen since June the 24th, bitch. Yeah. I honestly feel like Vladimir has unalived this man. I feel sorry for this man. I don't know this man. But I don't know what he thought was going to happen when you go against probably one of the most preeminent dictators in modern world history. And, I'm from Baltimore City. Omar on the White has a saying, you best not miss. Like, if you're going to draw your gun on the most preeminent, the premier dictator of modern world history, you better make sure you make your shot. So he's probably dead or in some hole somewhere, in prison for the rest of his life. Okay? If they put people in jail for their children writing protest poems, bitch, then it is what it is. So he's dead. Now, meanwhile, back in the White House, somebody got messy and left some blood. They found cocaine in the damn White House. Well, at the entrance in the beginning of the White House. The Secret Service was investigating it, right? So, they were investigating, but they have since closed the investigation. So, the Secret Service on Thursday, according to ABC News, said it had closed its investigation into how cocaine ended up at the White House without identifying the suspect. The agency statement came after congressional Republicans said they were told in a classified Secret Service briefing that the investigation into the cocaine found in the White House West Wing, bitch, okay, earlier this month was concluded without a determination of who was responsible. There was no surveillance footage found that provided investigative leads or any other means for investigation to identify who may have deposited the found substance in this area. The agency said in a lengthy statement, without physical evidence, the investigation will not be able to single out a person of interest from the hundreds of individuals who passed through the vestibule where the cocaine was discovered. At this time, the Secret Service's investigation is closed due to a lack of physical evidence. Okay? The Secret Service said the packaging was subjected to advanced fingerprint and DNA analysis. The investigation included a methodical review of security systems and protocols. So you mean to tell me, and hey, I could be wrong. You mean to tell me that with all of the CSI caliber shit that the federal government got, that they don't know who had this cocaine, bitch, if y'all did advanced fingerprint and DNA analysis, y'all know who did it. Y'all not going to reveal who had the coke, because guess what, America? Guess what, cabinet? Every motherfucker in the White House is doing blow. I don't even know how this made the news. Like, honestly, I don't even know how. I know how they did it. They probably thought it was anthrax or some shit. Somebody was like, oh my God, white substance. But if they knew that this was cocaine, this wouldn't even have made the news. To me, this isn't even newsworthy. Because I know a lot of them aides, if you're an aide in the White House and you working all hours of the night, I know that they ain't staying up off of no goddamn Folgers. Ain't that much Starbucks and Red Bull in the world, bitch. You gonna need something more extra to keep you doing what the fuck they gotta do. So I know they all are doing blow. So to me, this is not news. Glad that they ain't single nobody out. But guess what, America? If you didn't know, you know now. Most of the people who serve this country and defend it are on fucking drugs. Now, last but not least. So this story is interesting because I wasn't paying attention to this story until the press decided to attach 50 Cent and his opinion to it. So, in LA, who, by the way, has a terrible homelessness crisis. It's just sad. It's like the West Coast in general, California, their homeless issues. Yikes. A controversial zero bail policy went back into effect Wednesday for the city and county of Los Angeles after a judge granted a preliminary injunction in a class action lawsuit. Under the policy, the Los Angeles Police Department and LA County Sheriff's Department cannot require cash bail for some arrested people before their arraignment. It only impacts individuals arrested for misdemeanors and nonviolent felonies. Those arrested for sexual offenses, domestic violence, and offenses involving weapons will be exempt from the zero bail policy. The department added those with repeat offenses while out on no bail can be made subject to a cash payment. So you're saying, Manny, DDM, what is it? What is, cash bail. Okay, so cash bail is like when you go to the bail bondsman, you pay them a percentage, and then the bail bondman put up, the rest of the bail money. You get a bail bond or something like that, or you just pay straight up cash bail. You may just pay the straight up cash bail. Well, the thing is, if you're arrested, what this law says is, you have people sitting in jail that haven't even been arraigned or like formally charged or like, brought before a judge for their crime. So they're just sitting in jail waiting. They haven't even like been like really processed. And because they can't afford the bail, they're just sitting in jail in some cases for weeks and months, just sitting in jail. Okay. What this law does, let's say you got arrested for, you did a smash and grab. Okay, what is a smash and grab? It's like you ever seen on TikTok or like on TV where, they may run up into a store and just grab all the clothes on the front aisle. Or they may run in Louis Vuitton or Chanel or something like that and, just grab all the purses on the display and run out. That's in some places it could be a felony depending on the value of the items. But that's what they're getting at. Shoplifters, petty crimes, things like that, they would be released. They wouldn't have to pay the cash bail. Which, honestly, I'm not mad at that. Like, why are we crowding jails for that? Now, this law, once again, doesn't apply to, so if you rape somebody or you doing some kind of sexual offense, this doesn't apply to you. Your ass is going to sit in jail. If you beat up your girlfriend or your partner or your boyfriend or whatever, your ass is going to stay in jail. Okay? If you got any type of weapons charge, your ass is staying in jail. If you got released on the cash bail, let's say you got released, you didn't have to pay the cash bail because, you got arrested for shoplifting. You get released and then your dumb ass go out there and start stealing again. When they lock you up again, your ass is going to sit in there. You going to have to get a cash bail. So, on the surface, you're like, oh my God, no bail. And this is why, as we all know here, we've been doing this for a while together. You got to read the fine print. Okay? You got to read the fine print. This law applies to bitches who be stealing deodorant out of Target. You know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't, like, if you do some serious shit, no, they not letting you out on the street, dummy. But the way that some folks would frame this, you would think otherwise. So that's what's going on in, Los Angeles, in addition to their terrible ass homelessness problem, which is a mess. I'm such an advocate for affordable housing. Please make more affordable housing, because it seems like even in my city, everything is a luxury building. And no shade, they don't always be luxury buildings, bitch. Nail pops, it look nice, but it's not giving quality, okay? But that's our meeting for this segment for tonight. Make sure you follow me online on social media. I'm on Threads now, bitch, because Elon Musk done killed Twitter. Twitter's dead to me. Twitter just became a damn mess. But I'm on Threads, at Dapper Dan Midas, Instagram, Dapper Dan Midas, TikTok, Dapper Dan Midas. Although I don't really do TikTok like that. They want to get shut down by the government anyway. But, yeah, you can follow me on all social media, at Dapper Dan Midas, Venmo, Cash App, Dapper Dan Midas, if you choose to donate. I will be talking to you guys soon. Have a great weekend. Be safe, and I will see you on the flip side.